Tar Heels continue to be the most impressive team, not just in the ACC, but I think nationally. At some point, we're going to have a conversation about North Carolina on a national level that they don't seem to be having right now. And I don't know what more they need to do. They're 9-0 in conference play. The rare moment where you can invoke the name Matt Doherty era Tar Heels and go, they haven't done this since, and it'd be a good thing. So they haven't been 9-0 to start ACC play since 2000-2001. They've got the second longest active winning streak in college basketball. They've got an ACC Player of the Year that's going to get national run in RJ Davis. They've got a likable player in Armando Bacot. That's a good story in that he has pivoted in his role. He doesn't have to be everything and everything for the Tar Heels. He can focus on what he's been really good at, getting rebounds, playing defense, affecting the game differently away from scoring. And I think you and I both agree, and we've been talking about this for weeks now, Joe, Elliot Cadeau, as he advances, as he gets better, as he gets more aggressive, it really does unlock the Tar Heels' potential.
Yeah, you say you don't know what Carolina can do nationally to change some people's minds. That goes back to the Kentucky and the UConn games when Cadeau was not a factor. He had 10 points, total 10 points in those two games. The Kentucky game in particular, you'll remember he spent large swatches on the bench. Then he comes in, has the turnover late in that game. These last two games now, he's got 16 and 14. And if you look at Florida State and think, oh, they're not a good team, then you're not watching the games. I mean, they're an athletic team. They're long. They shot the ball well for long stretches of this game. And it's 70-68 with a minute left. They're going toe-to-toe with Carolina. But much as Hubert Davis has done all year, he's put on a masterclass. I mean, everyone on that team knows what they're doing. Everyone on that team understands their roles. They have a clear, distinct bus driver in RJ Davis, who is the closer. And now you add Cadeau, and that is what elevates them from just a team that could possibly go 20-0 in the ACC to a team that now is legitimately can think about, as our friend Hunter Oakley has already done, get those reservations out in Glendale, and you could start thinking about being the last team.
Yeah.
Standing on the top of the box on the last Monday of the season.
So it's interesting. You and I, we did a show from Raleigh Country Club for the UNC Rex Hospital Open, right? And that's when Cadeau had reclassified. And that's when, if you want to go back to that show, you and I both talked about, okay, now we can see what Hubert Davis is really trying to do with this group, putting these pieces together. Let's see how it works. Because Cadeau's development, the scratch off, as you like to call it, with Cadeau is it allows for two of their key pieces to go do what they're best at. So that's RJ Davis. Need we say more? And Armando Bacot not having to do anything. You brought up Florida State's length. There's a reason why you looked at Wake Forest's roster and went, hey, with Efton Reed, you can see where maybe you would like Wake Forest. But this is probably one of the more under-discussed aspects of Armando Bacot's season. He's not necessarily going to wow you. He might not be a first-team national player. He's not their ACC Player of the Year, but he's affecting the game defensively to the point where it helps them against Florida State. It helps them against Wake Forest. It's going to help them going forward against teams that would traditionally give this team problems. It's kind of like how we talked about with Duke and Derek Lively last year. You can affect the game in ways outside of scoring. And when the ball's not having to go through him to score all the time, you see how everything else unlocks. And again, he's getting help. Everybody's complimentary basketball, because Harrison Ingram might have been the player of the game given, 17 rebounds in this game? He continues to do that. He goes from a 6-rebound-a-game guy at Stanford to this rebounding machine, and that's why Hubert Davis continues to talk about team rebounding. And that concept of team has really permeated throughout. And I think the biggest thing with the Tar Heels that you can't quantify, but you can see it. It's kind of like the old, I know it when I see it. There's a confidence level of this Carolina squad that understands, hey, maybe the shots aren't falling. Hey, because Florida State hit some tough shots, man.
First half of that game,
tough shots.
They're both teams were banging some really contested shots. It was a good basketball game.
Yeah. So you can see that, hey man, we're playing good defense, but they keep banking them in. Like, all right, maybe today's not the day. But no, you know what? Tar Heels are like, no, let's Let's double down. Let's keep sticking with it. They don't get away from it. They don't get flustered very easily. And that builds, that stacks.
Their second half performances have been impressive this whole way through. And you start looking at it. That was one of the games I thought they could lose.
Yeah.
I had them at 18-2. I thought this game and the Miami game, it's in front of them now. I don't know if that's what they want. I don't know if I'm a big believer in a loss can help you. But man,
they're going to lose, right?
They're performing at a different level.
They're going to lose a game. They're not going to go undefeated in conference play, right? I mean, again, famous. I guess this is my week to go famous last words. Maybe is that what I'm doing here? Famous last words. They're not going undefeated in conference play.
I mean, somebody can get hot and beat you. It happens, but the way that they're playing defensively. Number 4 in KenPom right now. I mean, we can count on no hands the number of times they've been ahead of Virginia in KenPom defensive efficiency.
Is Duke going to do it?
Duke is not going to do it.